Hey everyone, stop what you're doing and listen up, because I'm about to tell you a story that'll grab your heart and hold it tight. Picture a young leader, brave as a lion, walking straight into a dark, scary prison to fix a terrible wrong. Can you feel the chills? This is the true tale of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, a hero who fought for justice and set free a man named Musa Diallo, locked up for 7 years for something he didn't do. Don't move. This story is going to light a fire in your soul. We're heading to Burkina Faso, a country in West Africa with wide, golden fields, dusty roads, and people who've faced hard times but never give up. It's 2022, and things are tough, really tough. The people are fed up with leaders who make big promises but don't deliver. Leaders who let foreign companies take Burkina Faso's gold while families struggle to buy food. Into this mess steps Ibrahim Traoré, a 34-year-old army captain with a big heart and even bigger dreams. Born in a small town called Kara in 1988, Ibrahim grew up in a simple home. His parents weren't rich, but they taught him to work hard and stand up for what's right. As a kid, he'd sit under the starry sky, listening to his grandparents tell stories about Burkina Faso's past, about heroes who fought for freedom. Those stories stuck with him, like seeds planted in his heart, growing stronger every day. He saw his country's pain, villages with no clean water, kids who couldn't go to school, and leaders who seemed to care more about money than people. Ibrahim decided he'd be different. When he was old enough, Ibrahim went to the University of Ouagadougou, studying hard and dreaming of a better Burkina Faso. He wasn't just book smart. He had a fire inside him, a need to help his people. After university, he joined the army, training to be a soldier. He was good, really good. His men respected him because he wasn't just their boss. He was their brother. By 2022, he was a captain, leading a team of soldiers who trusted him with their lives. But that year, Burkina Faso was falling apart. Rebel groups were causing trouble, attacking villages, and the government wasn't doing enough to stop them. The leader at the time, a man named Paul-Henri Damiba, was weak, and the people were angry. They wanted someone who'd fight for them, not for foreign powers. Ibrahim saw this, and he knew it was time to act. Can you imagine the guts it takes to change a whole country? On September 30th, 2022, Ibrahim and his loyal soldiers took over the government in a bold move called a coup. He didn't do it for power, he did it for his people. The streets of Ouagadougou, the capital, filled with cheers. People waved flags, painted Ibrahim's face on walls, and shared his name online. They saw hope in him, a young man who promised to make Burkina Faso strong again. But leading a country isn't easy, and Ibrahim's biggest test was yet to come. Far from the city, in a quiet village with mud brick houses and dry fields, lived a man named Musa Diallo. Musa was a farmer, a kind man who loved his wife, Amina, and their 3 kids. Every day, he worked hard under the hot sun, growing crops like millet and sorghum to feed his family. He wasn't rich, but he had big dreams. Maybe one day his kids would go to school, become teachers, or even doctors. Musa was a good man, always helping his neighbors, always smiling despite the hard life. But in 2015, everything changed. A greedy village official, a man with too much power and not enough heart, wanted Musa's land. Why? Because it was near a spot where gold might be found. This official made up a lie, saying Musa stole cattle from a rich farmer. It wasn't true, not even close. But the official paid people to lie, forged papers, and made sure Musa had no chance. Before he could blink, Musa was arrested, torn away from his family. His kids cried as soldiers dragged him away, and Amina stood helpless, watching her husband disappear. They took him to a prison in Ouagadougou, a dark, crowded place with damp walls and no hope. Can you imagine the pain? Musa was thrown into a tiny cell, barely big enough to lie down. For 7 years, he sat there, innocent but forgotten. 7 years of missing his kids grow up, 7 years of wondering if he'd ever see Amina again. Every day, he woke up to the same gray walls, the same stale air, the same ache in his heart. His hope faded, his body grew weak, but deep inside, he held on to a tiny spark, praying someone would hear his story. Back in the village, Amina fought to keep their family going. She worked day and night, selling crops and sewing clothes to buy food for their kids. The neighbors whispered, saying Musa was a thief, a criminal. It broke Amina's heart, but she knew the truth. She tried to fight for Musa, going to local officials, begging for help, but no one listened. The corrupt official who framed him was too powerful, and Amina was just a poor farmer's wife. Years passed, and the kids grew up without their father. The oldest, a boy named Isa, was now 12, helping his mom in the fields. The middle child, Fatimata, was 9, quiet and sad, missing her dad's stories. The youngest, little Amadou, was only 2 when Musa was taken. He didn't even remember his father's face. Amina never gave up, but hope was slipping away. Then, in 2023, she heard about Ibrahim Traore, the new leader who promised justice. She thought, maybe, just maybe, he'd listen. With a trembling hand, she wrote a letter, pouring out her pain. She wrote about Mousa's arrest, the lies, the corrupt official, the 7 years stolen from their family. She sent the letter to Ouagadougou, not knowing if it would reach him. But it did. Ibrahim was in his office, surrounded by papers and advisors, when he got Amina's letter. He read it slowly, his face tightening with anger. This wasn't just a story, it was a crime, a wound on his country. His advisors told him, "Captain, you've got bigger problems. Rebels are attacking, the economy's a mess. You can't fix every case." But Ibrahim didn't listen. He wasn't the kind of leader. He felt Mousa's pain, Amina's struggle, the kids' tears. He ordered his team to investigate, and what they found made his blood boil. The official who framed Musa was living in a big house, bought with dirty money. The witnesses admitted they were paid to lie. The trial was a joke, no real evidence, no fairness. Ibrahim could have signed a paper to free Musa, sent someone else to handle it. But that wasn't enough for him. He decided to do something no one expected. He'd go to the prison himself. Can you believe that? A leader walking into a prison for one man? It was a hot morning in Ouagadougou when Ibrahim's truck rolled through the city. People stopped to stare, whispering, "Is that the captain?" The prison was a grim place, with tall, gray walls and heavy gates. The guards were shocked when they saw Ibrahim step out, his uniform neat, his eyes burning with purpose. They saluted, nervous, as he walked past, his boots echoing on the stone floor. Inside, the prison was dark, the air thick with dust and despair. Prisoners peered through bars, wondering what was happening. Word spread fast, "Traore's here. The captain's here." Musa, in his small cell, heard the whispers but didn't believe them. He was tired, his body thin from years of bad food and no sunlight. Why would a big leader care about him? A nobody. But then, his cell door creaked open, and there stood Ibrahim Traore, tall and strong, looking right at him. "Musa Diallo," Ibrahim said, his voice calm but powerful, "you don't belong here. You're free." Mousa's heart stopped. He tried to speak, but tears came instead. 7 years of pain, 7 years of darkness, and now this man, this leader, was here to save him. Ibrahim handed Musa a paper, a pardon with his own signature. Mousa's hand shook as he took it, his eyes locked on Ibrahim's. The other prisoners started clapping, their cheers growing louder, shaking the walls. Even the guards joined in, some wiping tears from their eyes. Ibrahim didn't smile, he was focused, serious. He helped Musa stand, steadying him as they walked out of the cell. The sunlight outside was blinding, and Musa shielded his eyes. Then he saw them, Amina, Isa, Fatimata, and little Amadou, waiting at the gate. Amina ran to him, sobbing, her arms wrapping around him tight. The kids joined, hugging their dad, who they barely remembered. The crowd outside cheered, waving and shouting Ibrahim's name. Can you feel that moment? The joy, the hope, the love? But Ibrahim wasn't done. He turned to the prison guards and said, "No more injustice. Not in my country." His words were like thunder, a promise to everyone listening. The news of Mousa's freedom spread fast. Villagers told the story around fires, city folks shared it on their phones, and soon the whole world was talking about Ibrahim Traoré. People posted videos, wrote songs, painted his face on walls. "This is our leader," they said, "a man who cares." Musa went back to his village, his head high, his heart full. The neighbors who once whispered about him now apologized, welcoming him home. Amina smiled again, and the kids laughed, playing with their dad in the fields. Musa told everyone he met, "Captain Traoré gave me my life back. He showed me justice is real." But Ibrahim's work didn't stop with Musa. He kept fighting for his people, taking back Burkina Faso's gold mines so the money stayed in the country. He built schools so kids like Isa and Fatimata could learn. He fixed roads, brought clean water to villages, and gave farmers like Musa better tools. He wasn't perfect. Some called him too bold, too young. Foreign companies didn't like him because he wouldn't let them take Burkina Faso's wealth. But to the people, he was a hero, a man who walked into a prison for one farmer, a man who showed the world what leadership means. Years later, Mousa's village still tells this story. Elders sit under baobab trees, teaching kids about Ibrahim and Musa, about courage and justice. Amina and Musa grew old together, their kids now grown, one even a teacher, just like Musa dreamed. Ibrahim kept leading, facing challenges but never backing down. This story isn't just about one man or one moment. It's about what happens when someone stands up, fights for what's right, and never gives up. It's a story that lives in Burkina Faso's heart, in Africa's soul, and now in you. So carry it with you. Share it. Let it remind you that one person's bravery can change everything. What will you do with that spark?